Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Ed Jurenka, and we have a very important and informative program for you this evening. We are going to honor one of our leading educators, primary school headmaster, chief minister, former minister of finance, Honorable Willard Wheatley. We've been honoring our local heroes, and I think it's time that we start paying more tribute to those heroes. We pay a lot of tribute to H.L. Stout, but there are many other heroes that we have here in the Virgin Islands, and I think Honorable Wheatley deserves a tribute for his contribution and service to the territory. With me this evening, we have Elton Georges and his son Doug Wheatley. We're going to be talking about his foray into politics, contributions he made in the legislature, getting the country off grant and aid. Of course, Mr. Georges was a permanent secretary in his ministry at that time, as well as his son, Doug Wheatley. So it's going to be a very interesting and enlightening discussion. But before we get to that, we are going to have a little chat with two serial entrepreneurs, financial specialist Arthur Meade Malone, and business advisor and motivational speaker, Ms. Lisa Nichols, about the launching of MWM Business Network Entrepreneurship Network Service. How does that work?
Well, we have a combination of online and offline activity. Online, it's a membership service, and you can become a member in different ways. We've had a couple of very good sponsors, Blue Ocean Enterprise and Ocean Conversion, early on now. And they have provided over 300 scholarships for entrepreneurs to become members of the online platform. So if you're out there and you have a business, if you've been in business for 3 years or less, you can go to mwmbusiness.com, and there is a scholarship application that you can fill out. And once we evaluate it, you can become a member for free as a scholarship member of the site. Also, you can become a member by going on the site. You can become a free member. There's a free listing. You can become an associate member for $4.95 a month, or you can become a professional member for $19.95 a month, or an entrepreneurial member for $29.95. And that allows you, the different levels allows you different access to the site and different access to our physical networking activities.
Okay, you're going to have to take me through this slowly, because it sounds like a lot.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that I grasp it.
Yes.
So I have a business.
Yes.
And you have this site, and what's on the site? You have upload. You tell me about the scholarships, but
yes,
what's on the site that is going to impact my business directly? How it's going to help my business to either grow, help me to get more knowledge, to be a better business person? How is that going to work?
Fantastic. Let me just slow down a little bit. The whole idea of the business network is to propel your business and for you to get more business so that you can be successful. So when you come onto the site, the first thing we do is we ask you to fill out a profile for your business. It's all about networking and selling your business, your service, selling yourself. So we'll ask you questions like LinkedIn. If you were signing up on LinkedIn, you get a description of your business. What are the key selling features? What are products and services you want to promote on your business? What are your key qualifications? That's important because other members can search and by profession, by categories, and so they'll be able to find you if they're looking for an accountant, if they're looking for a lawyer, if they're looking for a retail person in whatever retail area that you're in, they can search and find you. So that's going to be critically important. You can connect to people. So if you are, for instance, looking for accountants, you can go and search for accountants and request to connect to them, to friend them. Just as you would in Facebook, just as you would in LinkedIn. And so that's important in terms of keeping those people updated on what you're doing and finding out what those people are doing in terms of, being of service and of value to them.
And if I want that service, I could engage them and buy that service. And if they want my service, they engage me and buy my service.
Absolutely. And so there's an opportunity online and there's an opportunity offline. One of the very interesting things we do in the offline activities is that we have a networking section to those activities. And I give the example because we recently had one on June 17th. And in that activity, there was this one entrepreneur that was able to connect to Necker Island and was able to get a contract to sell Necker Island fresh chicken. And so that's the kind of activity we want people to network, to connect, to sell their services, sell themselves, and be able to do business online and offline. So that's one level of activity you can do on the site. If you want to set up a business, all the information you need to set up a business is going to be on that. From anything from your trade license application to your social security, to inland revenue forms, all the forms and all of the services you need to establish a business, you'll be able to find it on this particular network.
Any training for entrepreneurs, human resource development on the site?
Yes, the human resource development aspect of it, we're going to launch it in the fall. For instance, all of our scholarship recipients, we're going to have a physical training, a business development training, which we're going to conduct in the fall, and there'll be other training opportunities online and offline that they'll be available too on the network. One more element of the network I want to just quickly tell you about, and we'll get into more, is we also have an element on the network where we interview individuals, successful individuals in the community. And we really try to get and chronicle their journey and the lessons that they've left behind on their journey to achieve the success that they have. Lisa Nichols has been one of the interviewees, and she chronicles her journey and leave behind for those that would watch it some of the things and some of the areas that she has engaged in order to be successful. And so we have that.
If I can add that, an entrepreneur, we can nickname, I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years, and we're also called a solopreneur, a lonelypreneur, a do-it-by-myself-preneur, a confused-preneur, because we go through all of that. As a business owner, you have a dream, but oftentimes you don't have the skill set,
Yes.
you don't have the community, and you don't have the training. And one of the key elements of a business being successful is a network. What's unique about this network is the network is, it really is committed to the region. And so you're doing business with people in the region, so you're recycling the dollar, you're recycling revenue, you're building each other's business. Networking is one of the number one ways to grow your business, but how do you network? Where do you go to network? Some social media spaces are like a black hole. They're so big, they're so vast, they're so broad, that if I found someone on that social media, it's more likely that they don't live near me, that I can't physically get business from them, as well as where do I go to get inspiration? Where do I go to as a CEO I have no idea what's next. I started my business 22 years ago, as I mentioned, as a single mom of a 3-year-old little boy. And at the time, actually, it was more one. I was building it for the first 3 years, but I just had a dream, and I had nothing. I had no way to know how. I was trying to change my life. I was on government assistance. I needed help to pay my bills. And I knew that I deserved something better, but I needed help in every other aspect. And in many cases, networking communities like this community were intricate. I went to the same training 42 times for 13 years. And now, I'm not a fast learner, so I hope it doesn't take anyone that long. But as a result, I run a multi-million-dollar business today with an international brand. That has a lot to do with the networks that I became a part of. And so I'm excited to be an advisor with this project, because it's the thing that I lived in. It signifies where I built my business. And so for that entrepreneur that's out there saying, listen, I want to do this, but I don't know everything from A to Z. This network is about putting together, both in teachable forms where you come and you just learn from experts like me who've made the mistakes already. I go, let me pay for your let my mistake pay for your journey. Don't go have the same mistake I made. And so learn from us, will allow us to help you navigate, as well as sit peer to peer and bounce ideas off each other, because where 3 or more gather, magical things happen. And so it's multifaceted in terms of the benefit that it brings for entrepreneur. And then the last thing I'll say about just the value, so many things to say. But in this day of text message, email, Facebook, all these elements that kind of divide us. You need a place where you can kind of come as a hub. What I love about the project is that it not only is a online platform, which gives me fingertip access to resources, it's physical access.
Yeah.
So I get to, business is done off of relationships.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you cannot replace relationships. And so I'm a big advocate for things that allow me to learn, to teach, to connect, and to grow together. And that's all the elements that happens with this project.
Okay. No, you mentioned regional connections. Are you connecting up throughout the Caribbean on the site?
I think one of the things that we've decided to do is to start at home and try to make those important networking connection in the British Virgin Islands and to make it incredibly meaningful. One of the important things I think we have with the network is that we have gathered and we are gathering an incredible rich resource of BVI professionals and entrepreneurs and business owners who are going to act as resource for people as they come onto the site and so that they can get information and make those connections locally. Because as Lisa said, you can do that on the wider platforms, but when you make it, someone is living in Japan or someone is living in England. This way you can make connections in the local marketplace, and we're going to start there and then we'll grow out from there once we get going.
Because one of the challenges that we're having now in the Virgin Islands, I suspect that many businesses around the region and around the world are having the same challenges, is competing against the internet.
Yes.
And I have a local business.
Yes.
But you could sit in your bedroom and get a wider variety at a cheaper price of the same product that I'm selling. And so you sit down on your iPad and you dial up, you log on, and you go to a store, you buy something, pay with your credit card, and ship it through eZone, and it's here, and you haven't left your bedroom.
But the distinction is a relationship.
Yeah.
You can't replace a relationship. And I have traveled further, and I have paid more for a product because he was my friend, because we had established a relationship. There's nothing, the internet can't replace relationships. And when we begin to place our value back in relationships, and relationships stem from networking, they stem from being. I've been coming here now for almost 6 years, and I don't think about another island. I just don't think about it. People say, oh, go somewhere bigger. No, because over there I don't have the relationships. It's worth it for me to take this journey to come here because of the relationships. And I think that when you look at business, good business can be generated from relationships. And so I think that's what this offers, is an opportunity for people to, one, understand what one another are doing, like create joint venture partners, create partnership projects where if I'm doing something that you don't do, and together we can cover more ground, then we have a chance to create a joint venture partner. You may not be my client, you may be my partner for future business. We've been in an entrepreneur program together in the States, and over 810,000 new dollars in revenue was generated in a year based on the people in the room partnering or giving each other their business. It absolutely can be done. And the more niched you make it, the more success you get to have, because you're not trying to reach wide, you're penetrating deep.
What's been incredible since we begun this journey, and it's been a short time, is the level of entrepreneurial activity that's here, the level of innovation, the level of the ideas that are out there, that if we connect those ideas, because my idea needs your idea, and your idea needs my idea in order to make it a big idea, and in order to make it successful. And I think if we can connect those, we will see how much business we can generate among each other, and then we would set the solid foundation to go out and then engage the world and be successful, because we would have helped each other along. And one of the good things about this network is that once you're on it, then you're there to really, you have the platform to then launch out into the world, because it's all online. It's there for you.
So you're able to make that broader connection.
You can make that broader connection. And what we are committed to doing is to bring the best that's out there in the international scene and put it on the network, so that people can have access to that. I mean, I want to give you an example because sometimes we don't have to go very far. If you take, for instance, someone like Michael Regals, he was one of the initial partners of Harney, Westwood and Regals. Today, Harney, Westwood and Regals has grown from about a 3-partner firm to well over 100 lawyers firm, international in scope and nature. The question becomes, if I'm a young lawyer, want to start a law firm, how do I do that? If I'm a 2-partner firm now, what are the lessons that I can learn from Harney, Westwood and Regals' journey? And what we've done is taken people like Michael Regals and interview him, and he's told us what are the key things that Harney, Westwood and Regals have done in order to be the firm that it is today. And so sometimes it just takes a conversation. It's to spark something big in your mind. It was at a networking event with Lisa in San Diego that I met Sandra Yancey. And she had organized a networking games. And through speaking to Sandra Yancey, we have MWM Business Network today. It started there, it evolved from that idea to where it is today, but it started at a networking function, and now we have the MWM Business Network. And just how powerful that is.
We have fallen on attorney the clock.
Yes.
And we have to come back so we
Yes.
could really get a full discussion
Yes.
of what's really going on.
Yes.
And I wanted this opportunity to because you told me about the venture,
Yes.
and it sounds exciting.
Yes.
And I wanted this opportunity to just get a little taste, a little teaser
Yes.
out there. But we're definitely going to reschedule and
Later on.
a little later in August, I think, after the festival.
Yes.
And we're going to come back and we're going to really do a nice presentation on what's happening. But persons that wanted to get it on the ground now, get in touch with you right now, how can they do that?
MWMbusiness.com. Get online, and there you'll know how to register. If you're an entrepreneur business just starting up, you can qualify for a scholarship to come online and have full access for free. If you just want to explore it, you can just explore for free also. So MWMbusiness.com.
That's great. Lisa, it's great to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Again.
It's a pleasure to be
Good
with you.
have
Always
Yes.
good time to come back to pour into anyone here and to also to receive. I love the energy here. I love what my brother Mead is always up to. The answer is yes to whatever he requests. So.
Yeah.
I'm
And when you
grateful to be
when you
part
come back again, you got to do a workshop or.
I've been told that several times today, so consider it done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Manage that.
It's done. It's
Yes,
done. It's
yes.
done. It's done.
Yes, it's great to have you both.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, my
Yes,
brother.
my brother.
Yes. Okay, sister.
Thank you.
Yes. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Honorable Willie Wheatley, his legacy, and the contributions he's made to the Virgin Islands. Keep it locked right here at the Spotlight.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Communications.